Are you ready? It's that show. It's that show you've heard about. It's that show you tell your friends about. It's that show you don't want to miss. We keep it real, we keep it raw, we don't hold back. It's Girl Talk.
Right, hey out there, we are back. We about to do question 2 with Girl Talk plus 1. Y'all know our plus 1 is on 1.
Average
But
Joe.
we about to go with the average Joe. See, I made it rhyme too. See, I got Muhammad Ali in me too. All right, what's question 2?
Growing up, my grandmother really did a job on me in regards to spoiling me. And after, don't get me wrong, my mother loved me, but that grandmother's love was a little bit different. My grandmother just really spoiled me. For instance, we once went into the corner store, and back then they were still, in certain neighborhoods, still white owned, and we lived literally around the corner at that time from A.O. Smith. So I knew when I would go into the store, I was going to get some candy. Grandmother would just give me my stash, and it was this wagon. I'll never forget, it was a red radio flyer wagon sitting in the window, and I was just mesmerized with it. And I remember leaving out, my grandmother said, "You like that?" I was like, "Yeah." So we went home, and as we were home, she called up my cousin. Cousin was like, I was around 6. I was around, 6 years old. My cousin was like 13, 14. She said, go with him to the store. So I figured, I'm finna get some more candy. And when I went into the store, I'm looking at the candy, my cousin talking to the owner, and he gave him some money. And the dude was bringing out the wagon. My cousin told me to get in. And when I got in, it was like, you couldn't tell me nothing. Everybody on the block was like, "Benny, that's your wagon, that's your wagon." I said, yeah, my grandmother got it for me. Which leads me into my question. Has it ever been a time in your life, in a relationship, and we're going back to how this piggybacks on that you openly and graciously and not regretted giving a man some money?
I done gave him a lot. I've been in relationships all my life. Of course I gave him money. What?
I mean, no, I'm talking about, I ain't talking about $5, $10, $20 here and there. I'm just saying, out of, how can I say, the somewhat lifestyle I used to live, have you ever checked trap to a man? Just said, bam.
Check trap? What's that?
Check and trap means that whatever you got is really ours, and I control that. That's why I'm asking.
You control that?
Yeah.
Oh no, no.
No, that's why I said not.
We're gonna let Shay go first. She the youngest on the panel. We want to get the young view first. Go ahead.
So you're saying, just giving somebody just your money, like, cause he wants it, like.
No, it's the understanding of the relationship, because if I, like, again, my father, any dollar that came through the house, now my mother and my father didn't make it, but my father has now been married. Wait. But listen, my I don't even refer to her as my stepmother, because she holds him down. They have been married for 53 years. My father would tell you, if anybody out there in that land and know, whatever dollar come through this house, I say how it's moved. In fact, it comes through me.
Is your stepmother happy?
She's still there.
That does not mean anything.
Mm-hmm. She's still there. No,
That
I
does
mean,
not mean anything.
I mean, of course she gets
some women stay just because they.
And she gave him 10 kids.
God damn.
She ain't going
And the point is, what I'm saying is, he would make it clear. It's like in his household, it was like this. When he spoke, it was like God speaking.
Holy shit.
So what I'm asking you, as women who are either in committed situations or aspire to be, would you have a problem turning over the money and letting him fully control it, as if, like in this case, like my father would say, hey, God, and I'm that close second. So while in this human form,
Shay,
you gon'
look like I don't even know what to say to this shit.
Well, I think there's a difference in you having a I want to say collaborative like I'm at work or something, but like a combined bank account versus, and you guys are putting money into that bank account, right? You agreed, hey, money come in, this is where we're putting it, and this is what we're doing with it. But it sounds like you just saying she doesn't even have a say so as to what they're doing with the money either, right? There's a difference in putting it in the same account, but then you both are still having a say so, and she knows when that money's coming in, when it's coming out. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's just he get all the money and he just do what he want to do with it, and he like she has no say so, as if she's like a slave or something. But
she has what I call some input, but he has the final say so.
Well, I can understand if he has the final say so. I mean, you're talking about people talk about that as submitting to, okay, he's the man of the household, he runs the household, he is going to do what is best for the family and the household. So I trust that what he does for the family is always going to be in the best interest of the family, which means that if I put my money in here, I already know I ain't got to worry because he got the best interest of the family and for us. And so when I was married, my ex-husband sort of changed. Felt that he was better with money, and that he would determine what bills and everything to pay and everything like that. I was fine with that as long as I knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. But when you carry the checkbook with you every day, you got, and you I don't know what's going on. I got a problem with that. Yeah. So for me, I need to have some input, no matter, even if we as the family, and I say, okay, babe, you had thought this out, I'm gonna follow you, right? But I'm not following somebody just off the bridge just because you say we should be going to the bridge. But I am going to trust that if we go to that bridge and we need to jump, it is because it's going to save our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am trusting that you will and have always shown me you got the best interest of the family. I'm not just that person gonna be blindly like, oh, I worked 40 hours, 80 hours, and I just put my money in here, and you just tell me what's happening. No, I'm not that. But I will believe that if I trust in that person, and it has always shown me, yeah, I'm rocking with you. Yeah.
But if those same results are productive but yet displeasing, case in point, let me give you one. My youngest brother, Joe, on my father's side, he's youngest overall.
Another average Joe.
He Joe for real. But Joe got, because my father was like, me and dude, we really didn't like each other growing up. We didn't like each other at all. That's why I didn't grow up in their household. I grew up with my mother because, like I said, I was used to women catering to me. And he was sort of that, but we just had a difference in how we looked at it. He never got any of his kids any toys. Like, for example, Joe. He got Joe a lawnmower for Christmas. She was like, you ain't got time to play. You're going to have to get you out there and get you some money. So Joe got a lawnmower, a real lawnmower, not one of them little, what's that, Fisher Price lawnmower. He bought him a real lawnmower. Merry Christmas. That's what you got. So when you need some money, you go out there and you go cut some grass. And that's how he did all of the kids. I'm like, man, y'all need some kind of counseling or trauma, something, because he was just that dude. But guess what? He held it down to the point where everybody thanks him for that lifestyle. I thank him for the content of his character that he gave me, because everybody else say, well, you more like him than anybody because you just stumped down on what you believe, and I am. But the thing is, not because he was just so hard rich, it's just the thing with submission. Would that be a problem for you wholly and solely and totally committing yourself to this man that you call, because remember, y'all took vows in front of God in most cases, and if you were smart, I believe you did them in a church, God's house, whichever your faith is. Would you have a problem submitting financially and any other means of how that relationship works to that man, even if it was displeasing to you?
Let me see. I'm having some
Problem with that?
So, I was married, right? My husband was killed. I'm a widow. So, when I was married, I was a housewife. And he made all the money. So, but here's my thing. I think that a woman gets to choose the type of man that she marries. Because I ain't got to marry the type of man that I don't want to marry, right? And so my husband made all the money. We lived in New York. And this was back, I got married in 92. And we lived he was making six figures back then, which was a lot of money, but New York is expensive anyway. So I was a housewife, and I wasn't used to that because I'm an only child also. And so only children, we are used to doing everything ourselves because ain't nobody else, right? And so when the whole thing, we discussed it, neither one of us wanted our kids to go to daycare. So the agreement was I would stay home until the youngest one could go to school, and then I always loved real estate. Then I was going to get into real estate. He was killed when she was 7, so never really lived that out. But when I would go, so I handled all the house stuff. House was clean. When he came home, because he was kind of fine and sexy, so he would come home and I'll have his shower ready and his drink ready, and I cooked dinner and all that stuff. But those things were fun because I loved him, right? Because I loved him and he loved me. And so when I would go shopping for me, for clothes or whatever I wanted, when we started off, I used to always tell him, like, I'm going to go shopping and, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy that and I'm not going to spend, too much, whatever. And he said, you just go get what you want. Just go get what you want. You ain't got to tell me you going to get it. Just go get what you want. It's in there. Go get what you want. I love that. I didn't abuse it, but I love that, So for a man to be like, oh, you gotta give me your money and I get to decide what I'm gonna do with your money too, I don't understand that from that side. Because I'm used to a man that loves me more than he loves my money. Matter of fact, he loved me enough to just take care of me. So when you talk about that situation as far as submitting, financially, I think I trusted him completely because I wasn't making no money. I was taking care of our kids. But he valued what I did enough to respect me, to give me the freedom to still feel like I'm a whole woman that you value and love. I'm not this chick that you control. Like, are you getting your rocks off by controlling me? Is that what you doing? Because with me, your rocks not going to never get off by controlling me. But you can love me. If you show me love, then I will submit to you. But if you're trying to bully me into that, then there's a whole other side of me that could come out.
I didn't say bully. I didn't say control.
No, when you said that his
said
word
submit.
is like God.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I'm not even Christian, but I understand that God is someone that sits there and judge and has the final word. No, I was Christian at one point in my life. We all start there. But if you telling me that you are my God, that you going to judge me and punish me based on what I do, that's some straight bullshit. I'm not going along with none of that. My mama was a Cancer, and she was mean and moody. And ain't nobody never gonna make me feel like that ever, period. So I wouldn't, I'm glad that we have choices. We can choose the man that we accept into our lives, and a man that shows me that you gotta give me your money, I'm in control of your money, I'm in control of your life, I'm in control, period, and everything goes through me, I'm not going to choose him because I'm actually in control of my life. So that's just how I think about that situation you just presented. That's some bullshit. And I would never have no 10 kids.
Well,
Period.
No, let me take it back. Let me show you. She actually had 12. She had 2 when she had got with him. And then he put 10 more in her.
That would be a hell no for me.
And they still together.
I had 2 and got my tubes
Now,
tied.
just so you can feel a little bit better, this did happen.
I feel good already.
2 years ago, because I had, like I said, me and him had a real strained relationship. We got cool after my mother passed. But I said, from this point on, as long as he's alive, I'm going to spend my Father's Day with him. So I popped in, surprised him. And he had some health bouts. He had been in the hospital. And we was at church. And I said, come on, Pops, let's walk into the sanctuary. And my father's an elder. He was walking on his walker, but he was walking regular. I said, come on, Pops, man, why are you walking on his walker and you walking regular? And the way he said this was so nonchalant, but it possessed so much wisdom in it. He said, son, I'm walking on this walker just to keep peace in the house. And he just kept walking. And I laughed, but because I'm like, wait, this dude, the cat, truthfully, because when men particularly have those kind of strained relationships, it's really because because we're so much alike, it's admiration. And I was like, I like that. And we kind of laughed it off, and he just kept going. Now, on another instance, because there is some perks, he's bought her houses. Wait, he got a house. He bought around the corner from where his house that he still had since his first and only house. No, first in Cheers' house, because they said, man, I'm going to die in this house. I said, okay, dude, you can do that. So he bought our house around the corner. My brother lives in that one. They bought the house across the street. Now, his whole psyche is that old school traditional. He was from the South, the Delta of Mississippi, and what I say go. And it's worked. And I'm asking, would it be a problem for you to completely submit your will to that man that you call your life partner?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just say this, right? I'm not a religious person, but I am familiar with some religious texts. And I think the concept of dominion has been skewed into a Eurocentric way of thought. And I say that to say the need to dominate is primarily rooted in white supremacy. Because you don't need equality to have equity. There really is no need to dominate over a woman that you are with. There has to be, as the voice of God, as you say, there has to be an element of wisdom, because the Bible also says that you draw them with love. And if wisdom is represented as a feminine form in the Bible, and you disregard the woman as wisdom, how are you godlike? And referring to dominion, it also says where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. And dominion and liberty are opposing forces. So when you have a godlike relationship, you have a relationship that liberates each other instead of dominates over one another. And so the need to have submission from another person, that points to an issue that needs to be addressed within that person. I don't think that submission or dominion is required, because you have two people with minds.
Yep.
And as Xavier was saying in the beginning, like, you have a choice in who you deal with. Now, you can make a wise choice or an ignorant choice in who you choose to be with. I think a lot of us have dealt with both, and we understand the consequences of dealing with both. But I don't think it's not I can't really answer that question because that's not real to me. Like, I don't understand any situation where I would feel like I needed to submit to somebody, like submit my will to. That's weird to me. I think that, like, we are adults and we should be able to come together and we should be able to discuss things, and we should each be able to defer to our strengths. Some men are better with cleaning than women. Some women are better with money than men. It is foolish to try to force yourself to be over finances when
And
that
you
is not
suck.
your strong
That's
suit
right.
as a
Yes.
man,
Yes.
simply to prove a point and feel like you are dominating. And so all these things are individual things that come with individual people. Y'all need to be able to understand your strengths and weaknesses and come together. But you know, some people have these dominatrix submission kind of relationships because they have kinks caused by trauma, and that works for them. But I mean, for the most part, I don't really see that being healthy. And just because I heard her say something, I heard Xavier say something, a lot of people don't know, like, basic history in our country because nobody talks about it because it's ugly. Women weren't even allowed to have bank accounts until 1970.
Exactly.
right.
So a lot of
They were
things,
property.
As
They
long
were-
yes, they were property. Okay, like, and here's some fun facts for you. You know how y'all ever heard the phrase "the rule of thumb"?
Yeah,
Y'all know-
I've heard it.
Yeah, it was basically because the white men had decided, they made a law that it's perfectly okay to beat your wife. You just can't beat her with a stick bigger than your thumb. And that's where the rule of thumb comes from. So, like, you got to really investigate these thought processes that you take as fact and as truth and as tradition. Like, where did your tradition come from? So it's like in our country, we have women who could not leave. Here's another one for you. You know where barefoot and pregnant came from? You keep them barefoot in the winter and pregnant in the summer. Barefoot in the winter because the man was the one with the finances, and if he did not buy you shoes, you could not go anywhere. You were trapped, you were a slave in that house. So that when summertime came, you were pregnant, so you were stuck at home and thereby a slave once again.
Barefoot and pregnant.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, so we have to really investigate these traditions that we choose to uphold as the epitome of relationships.
Girl.
Because, I mean, there's layer to it. Like I said, we're just like a people who's had stuff superimposed on us, and we
We
just
definitely
accept it
have
as
had
the
things
truth.
superimposed.
And this stuff really don't have nothing to do with us.
But
So I'll finish up so that you can speak then. But I think we really need to look at that. We need to really question anything that was given to us by people who did not want the best for us.
again, we say superimposed. Because
You know
this
the
is
meaning of
where it gets to the point where it's confusing, because it's almost like, okay, back, because I can only use myself as an example. And this is, again, and I totally understand it. Like, let me see. Only one person in here's known me for more than 35 years. It's my man back there, the bear. He know. When I
man
was
is that?
16 years old.
Can you know him?
We went to high school together. I remember when he had a head full of hair, and I did too. But now check this out. He can attest to
I didn't mean to
this.
say your name out
At
loud.
16 and 17 years old, I was out my mama's house. But guess who was paying my rent?
Oh shit.
My mama. She paid this was the rule, because my mother had remarried. Me and my stepfather didn't get along. And plus, I was doing my own thing anyway. In fact, I even take y'all a little bit back farther. I was around 11 years old. 10, 11. Rule of thumb on, no pun intended. The rule of the household was, my mother didn't care about you getting up early on Saturday morning, watching cartoons, doing all of that. But by 10:30, 11 o'clock, you need to be doing a chore. It was the summer. Beautiful summer day, probably like July, mid-July, late July, whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. Her thing was, well, buddy, before you call yourself hitting the quote unquote streets, you know what you need to do. Because me and my brother, I was the oldest boy, middle child. She said, I had to gather up my dirty clothes so she could wash them, make my bed, take out the garbage, and if the grass needed to be cut, cut the grass. So I did that, bam, in a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, I was done. So my grandmother had bought the duplex. We lived upstairs, her and my aunt lived downstairs. So I go downstairs, I say, hey, Mama, I'm done. I'm finna do my thing, I'm finna go outside and play. And my mother then throws that little mental game on me. She was like, well, did you ask me? I looked at her and I was like, that ain't what you said. What you said was, when I was done with what I had to do, I can hit the streets and run the neighborhood. I'll see you later. I'm finna go. And I walked out the door, and my grandmother was sitting in her recliner, and she looked and said, now that's a little man right there.
Oh.
And it's always been that way. That's why, I don't refer to it as that. It's just, I can't understand when, if you claim that what we have is God sent and meant, and you adore me, you got a problem with something as minimal as some money, and I can't run things?
You was a child. You wasn't paying not nan one bill, and you tell her what you gonna do?
And no, it was the fact that I understood what manhood was at an early age.
No,
and that's
you did not.
I did.
You did
because,
not.
No, see, this is the
We're
thing
not
is that
sure you
she
still
told me, what did she
understand
say?
it, but you
She
did not
told me,
understand it
she
at
said,
11.
You know what? No, I respected it because she was my mother. She said, do what your chores were, which was what? I made my bed up. I got my clothes together. I took out the garbage. I went and checked the grass. Everything I said I was going to do or was supposed to do, I did. So when I came down there to tell her, hey, because I had a special name for my grandmother. I never called my grandmother grandma. I called her Mayne. I said, Mayne, hey, how you doing? She said, hey. Then she was talking to her. I said, Mama, I'm done with myself. I'm finna go play and finna do my thing. And then she flipped it. I didn't flip it. She just said, you didn't ask. That ain't what you said. What you told me, I did. I complied. And what I'm saying to make that point is, if I'm being that man to you, ain't no money finna stop. If I say this is what we're gonna do, and I'm producing the results, back to my daddy, the nigga that's producing results with, let me add this, a 3rd grade education, and got 7 properties within a 4-block radius, and still with a woman for 53, yeah. That dude taught himself how to cut hair, taught himself how to sell cars.
Money is the easy part to get.
But the thing is, okay, but then, no, if you're saying that
anybody
you
can buy property. Okay, you know what I mean? People in real estate.
Okay, but no. I'm asking for something greater than that. Because guess what? God created you for what? For what? To be my helpmate.
I don't believe that because I don't believe in the Bible. I'm not Christian,
so in other words,
I don't believe that.
We equals?
I have a whole purpose
do you believe
much
we
greater
equals?
Than just serving
Kim,
some
do you
man.
believe we are equals?
Who he talking to?
You.
Who is
I'm
Kim?
asking you, do you
I don't know
believe you
who
my
Kim
equal?
is, first of all.
Do you believe? Okay, I'll just put it out there. Do any of y'all up here believe y'all my equal?
Do we believe we your equal?
Yeah.
Well, equal means the same.
Okay, but
We all human.
Okay, no. White people are human too.
We're
but
obviously
we
not
ain't
the same. That's I don't even
we
want to say
ain't.
about that.
I'm asking you a serious question. Do you believe? Because if we're equals, I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and y'all tell me if I'm lying. Let a rat run right through there,
Okay, you right.
and you gonna right.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Right, you on top of that, and guess what? Because I used to, you like, now, if again, no, go kill the rat. Go kill the rat. No, I'm gonna watch you kill it. I'm gonna sit back because I don't feel like getting my shoes because I'll stump the motherfucker to death. I'll just say, go you kill it. But you can't do that. You more scared of a what? 2.3 ounce mouse. And you not going
I'm not scared of mice.
Okay, you a rarity. But most,
I'm not
I bet you
scared
if that
of
was, you just got to run around. Most of y'all be grabbing on me, squeezing.
They scared of us.
Exactly. But
So it's
you
a
more
whole
scared
mentality.
of
I mean, you just gotta learn to deal with the reality of stuff.
But again,
but you know, we do
I'm
have some girly
asking you,
girls.
are you willing to submit to me wholeheartedly?
So I will submit to a man. That's not an issue.
I
And
said
anybody that I
100%.
have dated will absolutely tell you that. But I have to respect you. I'm not just submitting to every man because he show up with a penis. That don't mean nothing to me. But so your
And not to
stepmother,
every man.
right? It
Yeah.
ain't to every man. There's different levels to this. Just because a dude show up don't mean that I'm gonna submit to him just because he showed up. You know, and if I don't have a romantic connection to you, I could be hospitable to anybody, but that does not mean I'm gonna submit to you just because we know each other.
Okay, you're taking it out of context.
Relationships are different. You can choose.
Right. If I'm in a relationship with you.
But in any case, for me, I don't want to choose the man that has the belief that your father has. I would not be happy in that situation, and life is about being happy and fulfilled in my head. It's about being happy and fulfilled, and I don't believe I would be fulfilled. And I'm gonna tell you a quick story because I heard the alarm go off, so we got to stop. So this went fast. So my mom has advanced dementia at this point, but my mom old school, right? She 87. She about to be 88 this year, right? So back in the day, you know, that's what they did because, you know, they didn't have any other choices. My mom had different dreams and things that she wanted to do, but she never got to do any of those things because that's not what my dad wanted her to do. So when her dementia started, she would, because they forget what secrets are and, you know, they forget everything. They just start talking about shit, right? And so mom was very unhappy. You know, my dad didn't know it. I kind of knew it. But my dad didn't know it because she submitted to him. She didn't go do this and she didn't go do that because that's not what he wanted her to do. But she is now in the nursing home, never lived out any of her stuff. I refuse to ever be that chick. I'm going to do what the hell I want to do with my life. And you know what? To me, a relationship ain't that damn important to me that I need to give up what I feel I want to do in my life to make you happy? Just because you got a penis? Negro, you going to need to go somewhere else with that.
It's not because just I have a penis. That's just, I
That's
got a
all
penis.
you telling me.
No, I'm not.
I'm a man.
No.
What makes you a man?
Okay.
What makes you a man?
No. Okay, what makes me a man is me, my morals, my principles, my
but
values.
What if I don't see your morals and principles and values as manly? What if I feel like you have not achieved anything in life that I respect?
I'm living.
I don't care if you living. It's a lot of people living.
No.
It's a lot of people living.
Again, okay. When you say that, again, we're back to being judgmental. I'm saying
you judging me.
No, I'm saying no, I'm not. I'm asking you. Okay, you don't submit. Obviously, I'm saying whoever that man is that you're with, would you solely commit and submit your will to him? If he's that man that God has sent you, can you do that without question? Which includes your money. Because like I said, if you saying I'm that dude, then all of this shit is like, I wouldn't
get with a dude that believe that. I wouldn't get with a dude with that thought process.
Okay.
Are you in a relationship now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm in this thing called
probably not.
No. I'm in a thing called because I'm not gonna lie. The next woman that I fully claim as my own, she has to be my wife. So in exchange for that, I'm just gonna go through these things called situationships. Mm-hmm. I am.
Have you
I
ever been married? Have you ever been married?
Okay, remember, I'm from Milwaukee.
That don't mean nothing. I'm from Milwaukee, too.
No, Milwaukee is an acronym. Okay, let's get it out.
So, again,
I come from the lifestyle.
It's the mentality that
lifestyle,
nobody wants to commit to.
Okay, it was just like that because I've never gave a woman instructions and I never sent her. Meaning, I never put her out there, but I did give her some law. And that law was, if you choose to follow with this, this is what I'm saying. This is what my manhood. The law is who I am.
The law is who you are?
Right. The law is who I am because I live by this certain code. This code is that I'm going to be that man that will provide you with what it is that you need if you are willing to submit. That means this.
What do I need?
That means, first of all, you come to me. I'm going to create this life for us. If this is the life I want? Because I never did anything by force. No woman can ever say, I forced them to be with me. Every woman that came to me, they didn't stay. Yes.
They left.
Okay, and that's cool for that time being. Every run has an end.
No.
And that end was that, and I can live with that. Now, if I was just wanting to be with someone, I would go by my old philosophy. My old philosophy was this. I get with you, cute face, heavy in the waist, and low self-esteem. That's what I would used to do. Yes, cute in the face, heavy in the waist, and low self-esteem. But I said, okay, I'm not staying in that path. I'm going to now put my faith in God and do what it is I need to do. And God has not ever led me wrong.
Yet he's single, never been married. Okay, do you have kids?
That's another situation.
Okay, here,
where
we're going to let the audience, we're going to get the audience the mic. Come on.
Yes, I do.
Okay. First off, everything. No, let me rephrase that. Some things they said, I understand and can relate to. However, when you dealing with people on a different energy level, wavelength, and status in life, none of that shit applies. Because for one, as you can see, like what is you talking about? What that mean? You know what I mean? So that don't. But I understand. Me personally, I understand. I'm with you. How now? I got a list of stuff.
Go ahead, Will.
First, when you spoke up on checking traps, right?
Chicken trap. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
Thank you.
However,
Okay.
once again, 90% of the room, like, what the hell that mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But I have no problem explaining that. Check and trap basically mean is whatever you got. We used to have this saying, play like you weigh, meaning whatever you got up on you needs to be coming this way. But I'm gonna make sure, because if you proper in it and you do it right, you gonna make sure all their needs. If you're the parent, like I used to get mad at my mama for buying black-eyed peas, but guess what? I love them now. She provided that. I'm going to provide what it is that you need in compliance with the understanding of our relationship.
And paying what you weigh, that
Huh?
damn near.
No, I ain't never. Let me, again, disclaimer. I've never given a woman instructions or sent her anywhere. But I've taught her things how to do, because like I said, without compromise, like I said, I'm a staunch proponent against human trafficking, anything of that nature. But you can do things, because in fact, I have gifts for all of you, especially her, because I'm proud to say, dear friend of mine who's getting married, I'm going to give her something for that. And I even offered to host her husband-to-be bachelor party. Why? I'm going to see, but let me explain. So I've given them what I call certain things. I used to be referred to as a motivational engineer, meaning that I will solve your problems and give you the diagram how when I'm not there you can do that. See, I'm self-proclaimed. But see, I was going to school for engineering, so I can call myself that. I'm just motivational in the right direction. So you know what they said? Proper instructions will help you avoid self-destruction.
Yeah. Now submitting, right?
Yeah.
Now when it comes to submitting, me individually, I ain't speaking for nobody. Turn it up. I ain't speaking for the masses. I'm speaking for myself, right? When it comes to submitting, me personally, I don't want nobody to feel or act like they a robot. You know what I mean? And I want you to think, because wherever I'm wrong, right, wherever I'm wrong at, if I'm not seeing something that you see, tell me about that shit. Don't let me run into a brick-ass wall and you see something that I ain't looking at or overlooking, you know what I mean? But once again, that's just me, though.
Okay, again, if you look at the Webster, if it was Merriam-Webster's, right, submission only means to agree. Because I can't be with a woman that if we're constantly, I got, first of all, it's just, I used to gamble. If you go gambling with, dang, I hope I win, or if I might win, every time I gambled, I won. Now, I did take some losses, but I always made game, because you have to put yourself in a certain mindset. If I believe in you, you believe in me, listen here, I'm going to provide this, because my provision goes beyond finance.
Hold.
Okay.
Let me stop you right there, though. But being as men, as black men, right? Mm-hmm. There are certain things that me, once again, I'm speaking on my personal my personal thoughts and beliefs, right? It's certain things as black men, regardless of what my partner do or don't do, I'ma do regardless, because that's me. And however I feel about you or whatever, that's what I'm like. I'll give you a prime example. If I know, let's just use Xavier. If I know her store, one of her favorite stores is Body and Bath or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm knowing this. Oh, and I'm knowing this. So I'm going to go there and talk to the people behind the register. I'm going to prepay a few dollars, whatever that may be, and tell her, go do what you do.
Right, that's good game.
You know what I mean?
Good game.
Stuff
I
like
totally
that.
agree with that.
So
that's providing. You giving them provision. You're being considerate. You're thinking about her. You're making sure that her needs are met. Like I said, one thing I can honestly say, go back to my father. Even though my father was that anal type of dude, but he made sure he would get up. Remember, I had 10 brothers and sisters. He'd get up at 1:30 so that they would be able, he would take his shower, eat, go back, lay down, so they would be good. Then he'd go out, as soon as he got him off to school, go out there and do his thing. Had his own barbershop, had that. He was that dude. He believed in that. What man do you want that don't believe? I may be talking all the shit in the world. If I believe that shit and it resonates in your spirit and you can feel that this nigga feel, dang, I want to get behind him, then guess what? I'm that dude. And guess what? You're right. Get your ass behind me and let's go.
Okay, let me just hop in here. We way over time now?
No, we way over, but we over.
We over, okay. So I just want to, so we going to take a quick break, right?
Yeah, y'all need
it. Need a bathroom break or a drink break. But I just want to let you know what submit actually means. And it means to yield to the authority, control, or influence of another person or thing. So it does not mean to agree.
You can guess what?
It does not mean to agree. It means that even if I don't agree with you, I am still going to yield to you, even if I don't agree with you.
And guess what?
That is what submission is.
All right.
Even if I don't agree with you, I'm still going to yield to you.
But guess what? You got to be able to respect it and accept it, even if you don't like it.
And that comes with choosing.
Excuse me? No,
She said
remember,
that
ain't
means
no
you
force
forced
in
her
it.
into
This is all by
submission.
choice. Cause like I said, if you choose it, because first of all, we ain't gonna have no headaches and we ain't going back and forth. If you with me, yeah, it do. Yeah, it do. It do. Yep, it do. Okay. No, it do. Okay.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But it do have conditions, and so why? Okay, but then again,
Exactly.
see,
I wish you was on the mic so that the live stream heard that.
Right, and I'm talking about more. No, because before that,
That's right.
before that,
Tell
I
him,
said
girl.
will. No, she can't tell me shit.
She
I said
told
will.
you.
I
You
said
just
will
not
come
listening.
first. I'm listening. I'm disagreeing.
Okay.
Because she ain't gonna get me to submit to that shit she just said. I said
Girl,
the will
he
come
throwing
first.
your husband's
That's right.
bachelor
No,
party.
the will come first. You
Your
gotta
shoes
do
cute.
what it is I need you to do. Okay, guess what? Some have and they left. And guess what? It's gonna be some more that do too. Yeah, I need one that's gonna comply. One thing I like ones that only have a limited amount of English.
A limited amount of English?
Yeah.